Solve the system of equations using Cramer's rule. So here we have three equations: negative 6x minus 5y plus z equals negative 1, negative 2x plus y minus 5z equals negative 19, and 2y plus 2z equals negative 2. So to solve this using Cramer's rule, first off, we're going to write all the coefficients of our variables into a matrix, into a 3 by 3, because we have three equations. So you can see I have negative 6, negative 5, 1, negative 2, 1, negative 5, and our x term is 0 here, so 0, 2, 2. And here we also have to have a matrix of all of our constants on the other side of the equation, negative 1, negative 19, negative 2. And Cramer's rule says that our x, y, and z are three variables. X is the determinant of the coefficient matrix with x, with this being inserted, which I'll talk about a little later, over the determinant of the coefficient matrix. Y, similarly, is determinant of coefficient with the y plugged in over the determinant of the matrix. Z, similar idea. So first off, let's figure out what the determinant of the coefficient matrix is, just the original version. So here we have determinant, and again, this is kind of the notation with the vertical bars. And to figure this out, what we're going to do is we're going to take the first row and we're going to go one by one from negative 6, negative 5, and 1 and split it up. So here, this is how we do it. Start with negative 6. So we have put a negative 6 out front. And then we're going to cross out everything in the row and column of negative 6. So we cross out this and we cross out this. We're left with 1, negative 5, 2, and 2. That's these four. And we still have to find the determinant of a 2 by 2, but we can do that a little bit easier and a little bit later. So now, the next one in the sequence is going to be a subtraction. So this was positive. That's why we had learned. It started out positive, but we have negative 6. But this is minus negative 5. So it's going to end up being plus 5. And we eliminate the row and column for negative 5. We're left with negative 2, negative 5, 0, and 2. And finally, we take the third column, which has a 1 there. So we put a 1, so this is positive. As you can see, I have a plus 1. So it goes positive, negative, positive. That's kind of something you have to remember. And so if we cross out the row and column, we're left with negative 2, 1, 0, 2, just like that. And so to find the determinant of this 2 by 2, what we're going to do is multiply this diagonal, which is 2 times 1, which is 2, and subtract it by this diagonal, the multiplication of this diagonal, which is negative 10. So 2 minus negative 10 is 2 plus 10, so that's what I have here. Similar idea, we'll have minus 5, so it's plus 5. Here I have negative 4 minus 0. And here I have negative 4 minus 0 as well. And so here's what I have. If I simplify this, this is negative 6 times 12, which is negative 72. Here I have 5 times negative 4, which is negative 20, and plus negative 4. And so our answer is negative 96. That's what D is. Now let's move on to dx. Now what dx means is it's the exact same as this, except this first column, which we can say is the x column because it represents the x coefficients, is replaced by these constants on the other side. So instead of negative 6, negative 2, 0, I have negative 1, negative 19, negative 2. You can see the other two columns are the same. And so here I'll do a similar idea. Start with the first one, negative 1. Cross out everything. I got 1, negative 5, 2, 2. Minus negative 5 in the second column. I cross out. I get negative 19, negative 5, negative 2, 2. Plus 1, the third column. I cross it out like this. I get negative 19, 1, negative 2, 2. And now, once again, I multiply diagonal, subtract it from the other diagonal. So I have 2 minus negative 10, which is 2 plus 10. You can see the negative 1 just becomes a negative sign. I have minus 5, so that's plus 5. And in here we have negative 38 minus positive 10. There you go. Here we have just a 1, so I get rid of it. And I have negative 38 minus negative 2, which is plus 2. And so now this is what I have. Here you can see it's negative 12 plus 5 times negative 48, which will give you negative 240. And here we have negative 36 at the end. So if we subtract it all, we get negative 288, and that's dx. And so that allows us to say that x is dx over d, which is negative 288 divided by negative 96, which gives us positive 3. And so that right there, we just solved for the x variable. Okay, so next we can solve for y by finding what dy is, which again is just the coefficient matrix, but instead of replacing it with the first column, you can see compare these two matrices. Instead of replacing the first column, we're going to replace the second column, that's the y column, with our coefficients. So, or not a coefficient, but constants on the other side. So we have negative 1, negative 19, negative 2 plugged in. So now when we find this, let's start with the first top left. We have negative 6. We cross out everything, we get negative 19, negative 5, negative 2, 2. Minus the second one, negative 1. Cross out, I get negative 2, negative 5, 0, 2. Plus the third one, 1. I cross it out, I get negative 2, negative 19, 0, and negative 2. And so now here we go. I'm going to negative 19 times 2 is negative 38, minus positive 10. There you go. Negative 4 minus 0, and positive 4 minus 0. And so here we have negative 6 times negative 48, which gives you 288. And I have minus 4 and plus 4, which are going to cancel out, and all we're left with is 288. And so dy, or y, is equal to dy over d, which is 288 divided by the negative 96 we figured out earlier, which gives us negative 3. And so that's the y, we solved for y right there. Similar idea we can do for the z variable. We're going to plug in, well here you can compare it. The first two columns are the same, but we're going to replace the third column, the z column, with our constant matrix. It's now a similar idea. We start off with negative 6, cross it out. I get 1, negative 19, 2, negative 2. Minus the second column, negative 5. I cross it out, I get negative 2, negative 19, 0, negative 2. Plus the third column, negative 1. And I cross it out, I get negative 2, 1, 0, and 2. So now I have these three. I'm going to find these determinants, which is negative 2 minus negative 38, which is plus 38. Here I have minus 5, so that's plus 5. Here I have positive 4 minus 0. Here I have a negative 1. And I have negative 4 minus 0. And so now, simplify this. I'm going to have, here I have 36 times negative 6, that's negative 216. Here I have 5 times 4, that's 20. And I have negative 1 times negative 4, that's positive 4. And so I add that up, I get negative 192. And so finally our z variable is dz over d, which is negative 192 over negative 96, which is positive 2. And so those are all three of the variables. X, which is 3, y, which is negative 3, and z, which is 2.